Part 18. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 171. In addition to the one-eyed pirate Robert, Yabai also welcomed several groups of volunteers. However, they are neither pirates nor have a special story background. In the end, he was rejected ruthlessly by Yabai. Robert, plus 5 pirates, took up 6 spots, with 4 more to go. Just when Yabai was about to try his luck elsewhere, a fierce and strong man came over. "Boy, I heard you are going to find a mermaid." The strong man's face was full of flesh, there was an ugly scar on the left side of his face, and his arms were covered with knife marks and gunshot wounds. He looked anything but good. He was more of a pirate than Robert. Yabai looked at the other party, and a lot of information popped up above his head. Bounty Hunter, Wes Randy, Leave 105. As the name suggests, he is a guy who makes a living by catching pirates, and he has recently been eyeing Robert. Hot knowledge, he has also seen Immortal Monsters. Immortal Monster. This is the second time this statement has appeared. Yabai concentrated on trying to get more useful information. Immortal monster, a monster that will never die no matter how you kill it. If you talk nonsense, I still have to look at you, the eye of insight. You have dealt with her sister. Younger sister? A name instantly appeared in Yabai's mind. Medusa. Or should we call her Medusa? According to the ancient Western mythology that Yabai knew, Medusa had 2 sisters, known as the Gorgon sisters. Among the 3 Gorgon sisters, Medusa is the mortal one. And her 2 sisters are both demonic bodies, that is, immortal bodies. The 3 sisters are all daughters of Poseidon and appear on the sea. This is very reasonable. But there is a problem here. Yabai took a sip of rum and didn't show anything unusual. The knowledge reviewed in Yabai's mind comes from his memories before time travel. At that time, Yabai would play some Western games, which contained many mythological stories. Only then did Yabai understand the 3 Gorgon sisters. In the Eternal Tower of Blue Star, meet the 3 Gorgon sisters. This is no coincidence. The secret behind it is very scary to think about. With Yabai's current strength, it is obviously inappropriate to explore these secrets. Hiding these thoughts quietly, Yabai said, "You can board my ship, and I will pay you 50 gold coins every time you sail." This price obviously exceeded Bounty Hunter Randy's expectations. Even if he only has 1 silver coin, he is willing to follow Yabai. After all, his target was originally the pirate Robert. 50 gold coins is not a small amount of money for Randy. Even if Robert is captured and brought to justice, the reward of 6,200 gold coins has been deducted and managed in various ways. In the end, no more than 800 gold coins fell into Randy's hands. Moreover, he still needs to share the money with others. There wasn't much left in Randy's own pocket. But if you go to sea with this generous employer in front of you, you can get 50 gold coins at a time. Randy did not hesitate and nodded in agreement. "Want to serve you? I will do everything possible to protect you without threatening my own life. Even if you encounter misfortune, I will return to the land with your bones. This is my promise." As he spoke, Randy raised his hand and nodded a few times in front of his face. "Follow me and say more auspicious words. I've always had good luck." Yabai put down the wine glass and ordered. "You can find 3 more experienced sailors, the kind who can operate the blade, and gather them at the port." After speaking, Yabai took out 60 gold coins and placed them on the table. "As you wish." Randy accepted the gold coins and walked out of the tavern. As a bounty hunter, he also had his own connections, so it was not difficult to find 3 experienced sailors. Yabai was extremely generous with his actions. 10 gold coins are enough to spend a week in the port like a god, go to sea wherever you want in the bar, and go to sea with whomever you want. Such employers are the most popular. 6 pirates, 1 bounty hunter, 3 sailors. Yabai shook his head. The staffing on the Blade was really interesting. In addition to these NPCs, Yabai can also summon his subordinates from his exclusive space. Werewolves and vampires may not be able to sail a boat, but they are not weak when it comes to fighting. However, with Yabai's strength, it seems that he doesn't need their help in fighting. Be prepared. Now that the personnel matter has been settled, Yabai has no reason to stay in the bar. Pirate Robert happened to arrive with his men. The dirty pirates smelled bad and were wearing ill-fitting sailor uniforms that they had stolen from who knows where. "Captain, you can leave at any time." Robert smiled flatteringly, scanning Yabai's body with one eye, his greed almost unconcealed. As long as he can go to sea and reach his territory, this ignorant handsome boy in front of him will be as weak as a lamb. "Let's go." The group was about to leave when the bartender suddenly spoke. "Sir, you haven't paid for your drink yet." Yabai raised his eyebrows. "I've already paid for it before." Although no one was treating him, Yabai was not the kind of person who was freeloader. The bartender said seriously, "You drank 2 drinks and only paid for 1. The words sounded familiar. Yabai decided to reason with the other party. He drew out the Heavenly King's sword. Robert was also anxious. "You are deliberately looking for trouble, right?" The bartender walked around the counter and stood in front of Yabai. "Sorry, I remembered wrongly, you did only drink 1 glass of wine. But I just heard you say that you want to find the mermaid's treasure?" The bartender whispered. "Can I go sailing with you?" A reminder popped up above his head. He once saw a mermaid. We are all people with stories. Yabai likes people with stories like this to come on board. Having a story meeting together can also help him increase his exploration level. Yabai smiled and said, "I can only have 10 crew members on board, and as you can see, it's full." Robert also grinned and cursed. "You bastard, get away from me, don't hinder me, don't hinder our captain from sailing." Boom. There was a gunshot. A shotgun appeared in the bartender's hand and blasted a pirate away, exploding countless projectiles and beating the pirate covered in blood. The sound of gunshots silenced the entire tavern, and even Robert, who had been cursing, had a scowl on his face. He did not expect that the other party would be so cruel. Who said that if you kill his daughter, you will be cursed? Such a group of people getting together is also a powder keg. Even if there is no external pressure. This is the curse of Poseidon. It's a tough one. In addition to Yabai, there were 5 pirates, 3 sailors, a bartender, and a bounty hunter on the ship. "Look, there's room now." Driven by the wind, the sharp blade slowly sailed out of the port. 5 minutes later. "Okay, but I have a condition. When I come to this pub from now on, you pay the bill." Yabai stood on the deck and looked into the distance. "Cursed by Poseidon? Start sailing. Let the storm come more violently." The entire blade undulated like leaves in the waves. The strong winds and rough waves made every sailor exhausted. Even the pirates used all their strength to stabilize the blade. There is a guy on the boat who was cursed by Poseidon. He shouldn't have come to the sea. Listening to his curses, Yabai's face didn't change. "Do you have any evidence? I'll sue you for slander." The sky is clear and cloudless, the sea is calm and the weather is beautiful. White smoke was coming from the muzzle of the gun. The bartender looked at Yabai, lowered the muzzle of the gun, bowed slightly, and asked again. Looking at the dark clouds, countless thunder and lightning roars, and heavy rain, it feels like the end of the world is coming. What does it have to do with me, Shura? Yabai was still not used to spending money in a tavern. Yabai's journey of 100% exploration is destined to be smooth sailing without any ups and downs. Can I get on your ship? If I don't find someone to help me pay the bill, I feel uncomfortable all over. As a young man, he would never understand the cost of this simple condition. Yabai even had the leisure to shout to the sky. You don't understand Xuemeng's pain. The bartender didn't hesitate. Deal. Robert, who was trying to steer the ship, was yelling in the storm. Yabai admired the young man in front of him very much. He was very energetic. Damn it, do you want us all to die here? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 172. The storm lasted for a full 10 minutes. In the process of fighting the wind and waves, Yabai's exploration level also slowly increased. Current exploration degree, 25%. This is the upper limit of exploration that can be obtained by fighting in the storm. It's time to end this farce. Yabai looked at the thick clouds, raised his staff slightly, and thought silently in his heart. Thunder. Boom. There was an explosion that was deafening. Red lightning shot up into the sky, instantly defeating the clouds and becoming the only thing between heaven and earth. There was a muffled groan from behind the clouds, and a black shadow flashed past. The sky suddenly became clear again. It's Thor. Thor. The sailors who survived the storm raised their hands and loudly praised the name of the god of thunder. It was Thor who helped us escape Poseidon's storm. People who make a living on the sea have more or less superstitions. Others followed suit and followed him to worship the god of thunder. Even bounty hunter Randy is among them. Only Yabai and the bartender stood aside and watched with cold eyes. The bartender's pseudonym is Jack, and his real name is Henry. He once had an encounter with a mermaid, which he still remembers. Henry the bartender also carries a special blessing. Poseidon's curse: every time you go to sea, you will encounter at least one storm. Someone on this ship was indeed cursed by the sea god, but it was not Yabai. Yabai was even more curious about the black shadow hiding behind the clouds, the immortal monster. Before Yabai went to find her, she actually came to her door by himself. Is there such a good thing? The other party was severely injured by the thunder and escaped. If you don't die, you will get hurt. The full layer is ready to go, and under the superposition, it will be hit by a thunderbolt. Even Yabai himself couldn't bear it. Following the direction in which the other party fled, Yabai commanded the blade to change its course. Left full rudder. Full speed ahead. The rule of the 15th level is that you must have a boat to travel on the sea. After leaving the ship, a person cannot remain afloat and will immediately fall into the sea and continue to lose blood until death. If there were no such restriction of rules, Yabai would have already launched Wind's infinite distance and chased after him. Where is the need to buy a ship and recruit crew members? In the Eternal Tower, Yabai always knew clearly when to abide by the rules and when to encounter bugs. On the blue sea, the sharp blade increased its speed to the extreme, riding the wind and waves, galloping like a sharp blade. With the eye of insight as navigation, the route chosen by Yabai was the closest. Of course, there will be some sea monsters ambushing you along the way. The blade itself has no defense capabilities. Once it is attacked and sunk, it will easily destroy the ship and kill everyone. Yabai had his own response to this. Two black shadows were hidden under the blade, swimming back and forth. Sea dog, Cerberus three-headed dog. Sea cat, black tiger. Any sea monster that dares to get close will be mercilessly devoured by cats and dogs, leaving no bones behind. Their combat power is stronger than that of high-level warriors, and they are close to the realm of war kings. Appearing on the 15th floor is considered to be bullying the small. If the three-headed dog from hell bites it in 3 bites, no sea monster can survive. After sailing on the sea for half an hour, the blade did not encounter any attacks from sea monsters. The sea, which was dangerous in the past, is extremely safe today. Even the experienced pirate Robert couldn't help but mutter. This luck is really evil. Is it true that there is a thunder god to bless you? A black spot suddenly appeared on the endless sea level. Sailors standing on the mast shouted, "Island! Island! Island!" The voice was full of surprise and disbelief. "What?" Robert climbed up the mast and looked into the distance. There is actually an island. An island that has never been on the map. What does that mean? Treasures, secrets, resources to mine, a new nest. The value here is beyond everyone's imagination. Robert glanced at the young captain and snorted with disdain in his heart. This guy is very lucky. No, I should say I am very lucky. Originally, Robert was just eyeing the blade and wanted to take it into his possession. Who knew, there would be unexpected gains. Double happiness. Robert remained calm, moved to the corner, and whispered to his men. "Send a signal home and follow us." The younger brother looked fierce. "Boss, we have a ship following us. Do you want to do something?" "No, the blade is too fast. He ran away before we even got close." If Yabai was alone, Robert would not hesitate to take action. Bounty hunter Randy protects Yabai, and there is also a bartender with unknown strength, which makes him quite afraid and dare not take action directly. The pirate captain Robert has been on the sea for many years, relying on his courage, strategy, and shamelessness. Looking at the situation, they will definitely come to the island. Taking this opportunity, let all the boats in the family come out and surround the island. All. Yes, all. Robert frowned. He always felt an ominous premonition. Even if I move out all my belongings, it seems that I can't eliminate this ominous situation. His intuition told him that the island was not that simple. The result of small shrimps and small fish approaching the island is that they will be devoured by sharks. A huge black shadow exuded a burnt aura, and arcs of electricity flashed across its body. The nightmare can't kill me, the sword can't kill me, and he doesn't want to kill me. This time, I won't die. Here we go, that damn guy is here again, the evil existence known as the strongest seed. Yabai, who was secretly watching the conversation between the two, couldn't help but nodded and said with emotion. Robert gritted his teeth, unwilling to give up the fat he was about to get, and whispered. It was like I had just been struck by lightning. "Captain, I think you will change your mind soon." "Captain, I suggest not to go to the island. As long as we go back and report the location of the island, we can get a large bounty." Randy obviously smelled something dangerous. A roar full of hatred spread throughout the Mermaid Island, with a whisper of infinite hatred. The immortal monster whispered in the darkness. Yabai couldn't bear to watch him die. "Mermaid Island, deep. You've come here, but if you leave without taking something with you, are you still a human being?" The whispers gradually died down. "Forget it, Yabai just closed his eyes when killing him. There's an old saying in my hometown." Bounty hunter Randy protected Yabai and whispered. Knowing Yabai's exploration level, he specially called all the pirates here. "I can smell his breath, and my sister died in his hands. This island is a blood feed that attracts sharks." Robert, what a good man. His long career as a bounty hunter has made him very sensitive to the surrounding environment. Yabai pointed in the direction of the island and said, "Roar." Robert couldn't believe it. There were so many powerful pirates that they couldn't handle a broken island. If I hadn't been severely injured and sealed, how could I have fallen to where I am today? Spread the news and attract all the pirates in this sea. The habitat of undead monsters. 12 kilometers ahead, Mermaid Island. Staying here is dangerous. The value of this mysterious island exceeds the limits of imagination. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 173. Eternal Tower, 15th floor. Mermaid Island. The blade rushed onto the beach and was stabilized by several people who worked together to anchor the ship. Yabai and his party jumped off the boat, while 3 sailors stayed on the boat to guard them. "Captain, we can't explore too deep," bounty hunter Randy advised. "If the ship is captured, there is no way to go back." "Don't be afraid, I have my own arrangements." A black shadow is hidden in the corner of the blade, and Black Tiger is always paying attention to the movements of the outside world. With Black Tiger's strength, as long as he doesn't confront the boss, it's no problem to protect the blade. Now that he has arrived at Mermaid Island, Yabai is too lazy to keep pretending and says perfunctorily, "This island is very big, let's move around freely." This sentence is exactly what everyone wants. The bartender Henry was the first to leave. The pirate Robert pretended to say a few words and left with his men impatiently. As a pirate, he knew the importance of intelligence. Surveying the island first will be beneficial to the subsequent battle and also allow you to collect more treasures. Only Randy remained. "Captain, even if I don't protect the ship, please allow me to follow you." Randy accepted Yabai's 50 gold coins and insisted on his duties. Yabai waved his hand, "It's up to you, as long as you can keep up." Brush. The next second, Yabai disappeared from the place. "Randy? Where are the people? Where did a captain like me go?" Suddenly, Randy felt a chill run through his body. The true strength of the captain, who seems to have nothing but his handsomeness, may be beyond everyone's imagination. The breeze blows. Yabai stood on a branch. Click. The branch could not bear Yabai's weight and broke instantly, and Yabai's body fell rapidly. A black shadow cushioned Yabai's feet, cushioning the impact of his fall and allowing him to land smoothly. "Cerberus, can I say bad words?" "That's not allowed." Yabai brushed off the leaves on his body and said helplessly. Sure enough, the comics are all lies. There was no way for anyone to stand on the branches, let alone a ninja. After entering Mermaid Island, Yabai quickly discovered new weirdness. There are only islands here, no mermaids. Yabai was so excited. Not even a hair on it. The distance between you and the undead monster is shortened, and the Eye of Insight can give more detailed tips. Hot knowledge: the immortal monster once faced 3 most powerful immortal seeds. Yabai. He suddenly wanted to leave. It is not advisable to stay here for a long time. It's hard to imagine how powerful a being can be against the 3 most powerful seeds. Is it true that the other party cannot be killed? Nightmare, traceless, carefree. Even the first demon of the abyss would not be able to survive if he walked in front of these 3 people. I am afraid that only the supreme demon god can do such a thing. That is to say, immortal monster equals supreme devil. Being timid before fighting, doesn't it mean that I have fallen into the name of Shura? Yabai looked at the black shadow at his feet and said seriously, "I'll make you the vanguard in this battle. Go explore the road quickly. If you make any gains, you'll be rewarded." Hell's 3-headed dog. Apart from the initial shock, Yabai quickly regained his composure. The record of fighting against the 3 strongest men looks very fierce. In fact, it has at least 33% moisture. The most powerful person is free and easy, he does not kill people, he only kills the heart. Most likely for some reason, they are too lazy to kill each other. Yabai nodded slowly. It would be outrageous if it happened to others, but it is extremely reasonable when it happens to third brother. It seems like this. That immortal monster just resisted the eldest brother and the second brother. Following the prompts of Eye of Insight, Yabai shuttled through the tropical jungle and soon came to a fork in the road. Turn left ahead to face the immortal monster. Yabai was about to send the 3-headed hell dog to explore the way to the left, but the nightmare wind on his body tugged at him. The cloak pointed to the right, wanting Yabai to choose another path. On the left, there is an immortal monster that has faced the existence of three most powerful seed immortals, slightly less powerful than the most powerful demon god. On the right is the guidance of the nightmare wind. There may be important clues to clear the level, or there may be a dark history of nightmares. Yabai had nothing to hesitate about this multiple choice question. Right. You don't have to brush up on the 4's rating, but you definitely can't miss the dark history of nightmares. You have deviated and are replanning your route. Anyway, Fishman Island won't run away, so Yabai has enough time. Follow the nightmare wind for a walk, you might find unexpected surprises. After jogging less than 1,000 meters, Yabai immediately made a new discovery. There are lines of text carved on a large stone, and an ugly heart is drawn at the end. This familiar handwriting, this twisted love, is very personal and unique. The strongest, the nightmare. Yabai didn't even think about it. His instinct drove him to act. He took out the camera he had prepared long ago and took pictures. His slogan is, "Don't miss any part of Nightmare Black history." After taking the photo, Yabai looked at the content on the stone. "I was touched by your sister's love story. Unfortunately, I was too pressed for time and couldn't send the token back to her. I didn't expect to meet Medusa's sister here. It's so great. Please accept this token. Please help me pass it on to your sister. I am a nightmare who does good deeds without leaving a name. I wish Medusa a happy future." At the end, the nightmare's signature heart is painted. To be able to draw a heart that looks exactly the same as ugly, it really requires some technical content. Safety. Hiss. You've already come, how can Shura be worthy of my second brother if he doesn't leave anything behind? This stone has collected all the nightmares and traceless messages. The three-headed hellhound cursed and explored forward, walking around the stone. Of course, there is no trace of escape. Yabai could imagine the scene back then. After pulling away, Yabai looked around and found no danger. Kill first and then play, Lord Ju's permission. I will kill the monsters that the three strongest men did not kill. The Taoist casually came to Fishman Island and saw this huge stone, but said it was boring. On the back of the stone, someone carved a line of small words with a sword in the corner. There is absolutely no connotation to the second brother. It is a purely instinctive reaction. Don't misunderstand me. Okay, I'll come. Shura. Are you stupid? I told you that there is a big problem with that woman. Kill her. The person who left this line must be the second brother. Yabai immediately distanced himself, fearing that a swordsman would jump out from somewhere and stab him with a sword. Or rather, unlucky guy. Medusa's sister. Yabai suddenly felt that something was wrong with his painting style. Murderous. Yabai, you guys are talking to each other in the air. But the lucky guy who narrowly escaped from the hands of three powerful men? This is Shura. Okay, it's very relaxing. Soon, Yabai discovered the clue. Are you stupid? I told you that there is a big problem with that woman, kill her. Wilhen. Go and check out the situation. Yabai thought about it and decided to add a paragraph after his second brother's words. Nightmare has no intention of killing the other party. It is not a terrifying monster that can resist three powerful seeds at all. I will kill the monsters that my second brother Wilhen failed to kill. Is there something on the stone that resonates with the Heavenly King's sword? Just as Yabai was thinking this, the Heavenly King's sword hidden in his arms made a subtle sword sound. Yabai then stepped forward and continued to look at the stone. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 174. After leaving the words, Yabai searched around again to make sure nothing was missing, and set off again. 3 kilometers ahead, facing the immortal monster. After walking less than 1 kilometer, Yabai met an acquaintance, Henry, the bartender. He stood by a quiet pool, not noticing Yebai's arrival at all, and said to himself, "It's been 40 years. I never thought I would have the chance to land on this island again." Henry's eyes were a little wandering, recalling old events. "When I went to sea, I was just a poor boy. After a storm, my ship sank and I was washed up on this island by the waves. It was you who saved me, not only healed my injuries, but also kept me young." A cliched love story. A young man with nothing but handsomeness falls in love with a kind and considerate mermaid. But for some reason we couldn't stay together for a long time. After Henry left Mermaid Island, he was unable to go to sea at all due to the Poseidon's curse. Until today, he heard that someone was going to drive the blade out to sea to find the mermaid's treasure. Henry realized that his opportunity had come, so he thought of a way to go to sea with Yebai. Really? The blade defeated the storm and took him to Mermaid Island. Returning to this place I longed for, I could finally see my lover again. Henry didn't recall for long. He took out a leaf and whistled. The whistle was extremely penetrating and spread across the Mermaid Island. Not long after, there was movement in the pool. First there were tiny bubbles, then ripples spread, and under Henry's excited eyes, a black figure jumped out from the bottom of the water. Mermaid. Yebai opened his eyes wide, trying to see clearly what the legendary mermaid looked like. Mermaid, mermaid. At least there is a word beautiful in it, so Yebai shouldn't be disappointed. Judging from Henry's aesthetics, he doesn't seem to have heavy taste. To be able to fall in love with a mermaid, at least the appearance factor can be passed. If it's too ugly, it should be called ugly mermaid. When the water splash dispersed, the dark shadow revealed its true appearance, which was clearly visible in the sunlight. Henry and Yebai were both stunned. Why is it so ugly? The legendary mermaid. The upper body is a fat-headed fish. The fish's mouth opens and closes, and you can see the staggered sharp teeth in the fish's mouth. The cheeks move, emitting a fishy smell. The large fish scales and fish body spread all the way to the legs and knees, giving rise to human characteristics. The calves are the same as human legs, white and flawless. But what's the use? As long as you have a complete leg, you can also obtain the achievement of leg play year. Yebai looked at it and shook his head. But you only have half a leg, so it's hard to walk. With this kind of appearance, Henry could fall in love. Mouth area. On the boat going back, there was no room for him. Unlike Yebai, Henry's reaction was even greater, looking around blankly. Where's the mermaid, where's my Jane? The half-fish, half-human monster spoke, #UN%, #%. I am Jane, dear Henry, I have been waiting for you for 40 years. With eye of insight, no language is a barrier to communication. Yebai raised his eyebrows and realized something was wrong. 40 years ago, when Henry saw the mermaids, they probably weren't like this. What happened during this time? An idea flashed in Yebai's mind. The most powerful one has arrived. Suddenly my scalp felt numb and my whole body felt bad. What did Xiaoyao say that turned the perfect-looking mermaid into an ugly mermaid? To clarify this issue, it is more convenient to ask directly. Yebai walked out of the darkness and startled the bartender. Don't be afraid, I'm not here to steal your wife. Yebai pointed at the ugly mermaid and said seriously. I have some knowledge of mermaid language and can help you communicate. Henry was overjoyed and blurted out. Then help me quickly and ask where Jane went. Yebai said seriously, she said she is Zhen. Impossible. It's impossible for you to lie to me. Henry yelled and took out a painting from his arms. He asked the painter to help draw it based on his memories. The mermaid in the painting is really good looking. Today's ugly mermaid can only take a beating for her appearance. The gap between the seller's show and the buyer's show is too big. Accept reality, man, and be strong. Yabai patted Henry on the shoulder, trying to calm him down. Henry took a few deep breaths and spoke again. Jen, can you tell me what happened? The fat-headed fish nodded and said. Your ship was sunk by us. After the ship sank, we took all the crew members to the coast, pretended that the tide was coming, and then rescued you by chance. Listening to Yabai's translation, Henry's expression looked as ugly as if he had eaten honey shit. What's the point of doing this, just to fall in love with a human? Henry didn't understand that with the appearance of the mermaid back then, there was no need for such trouble. Directly blowing up the photos, no one can refuse to fall in love with a mermaid. The fat-headed fish continued. In order to lead you to the depths of Mermaid Island, let the daughter of Poseidon swallow you and regain your strength. Yabai said kindly, tell the truth. Did a Taoist come to Mermaid Island more than 30 years ago? After the Taoist came to the island, he saw the daughter of Poseidon. Lightning arrows were passed in the pool, and the fat-headed fish was trembling with electricity. Yabai still has one more critical question to ask. Then why didn't I die and you let me escape? Yabai suspected that it was related to Xiaoyao. But he lost so completely. Fat-headed fish, because I love you. Henry still has a little fantasy in his heart, maybe he is the special one. The bloody story of Henry and the mermaid comes to an end. Before she could finish her words, Yabai casually struck down a lightning arrow. He resisted the urge to burst into tears and spoke for the last time. What a liar! I thought it was an interspecies love, but it turned out that the other person just wanted to eat all the crumbs out of him. That Taoist man has indeed been here. No need to doubt it at all. This sounds like a perfect villain boss template. The man said to the immortal monster. Because the daughter of Poseidon is full, let's put a bait back to attract more people. Ugly. After listening to Yabai's translation, Henry's face turned pale. Henry felt that his 40 years of youth had been wasted. Having seen the power of lightning arrows, the fat-headed fish trembled and said. All the mermaids on the island cannot forget what happened that day, the day when the real nightmare came. If he didn't slash her with 2 swords, Yabai would be sorry for Master Ju's cultivation. Henry. How many 40 years can a boy waste? The daughter of Poseidon asked mermaids to destroy passing ships, and then lured sailors to Mermaid Island to eat them. The story starts to get interesting. He was finally moved. Yabai's eyes darkened slightly. Xiaoyao definitely did it? Zhen recalled with lingering fear. The mermaid's appearance changed drastically. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 175. A word of ugly turned the entire Mermaid Island into a Fishman Island. Shocked, Yabai took out a mirror to make sure that he had not become ugly. Fine. People will be people, dogs will be dogs, it's another safe day. So, you have become what you are now. After listening to Xiaoyao's story, Yabai always felt that he had missed something. The nightmare came to Mermaid Island, and for some reason, there was no leader of the killer fish. But when the second brother came, he came with murderous intentions. What made Wuhan change his mind and not kill the monsters on the island? First, eliminate one wrong option, being unable to kill. At this time, the second brother can cut off the water with his left hand and lift the sky with his right hand. Combined with the SSS level talent, he is as strong as the strongest seed. As long as the second brother wants to chop him down, he will definitely be hacked to death. It is important for Yabai to find out why his second brother changed his mind. No. Jane shook her head and denied Yabai's statement. After that day more than 30 years ago, we all turned into ugly fish monsters and sea monsters. At this point, she paused, hesitant to continue. Watching the flashing thunder and lightning on the power of nature, Jane changed her mind and said truthfully. We found that as long as you don't eat people, your beauty will slowly return. If you continue to eat people, you will immediately turn back into a sea monster. The bartender Henry was almost desperate and wailed. So, after more than 30 years, you have turned into a calf. If this is the case, it would be too tragic. Yabai roughly estimates that it will take 246.86 years to fully recover. If Henry had worked hard, the grass on the grave would probably have been only a few dozen meters high at that time. Jane shook her head. No, I was greedy for a pirate before I came here, and that's why I became like this. As long as he doesn't eat anyone for 7 days, his appearance will be completely restored. Henry. It's not necessarily a bad thing that your lover is eating secretly behind your back. Yabai sincerely comforted him. Look on the bright side, if she hadn't eaten that pirate, you would be the one being eaten now, and you should be happy. Thanks. The corners of Henry's mouth twitched, and he felt even more blocked after being persuaded by Yabai twice. I seem to understand a little bit what third brother means. Yabai raised his right hand and rubbed his chin. Xiaoao's sentence ugly is not a punishment for the mermaids. Xiaoao just said what he saw. He is like a mirror. If the world is boring, we say it is boring. If we see the human heart is ugly, we say it is ugly. A beautiful heart makes a person beautiful, a bad heart makes a person ugly. Listening to Yabai's words, Jane nodded crazily. We think so too, so we usually try not to eat people. We only occasionally add food when we meet pirates. Yabai can understand why mermaids do this. But Yabai looked ahead. The immortal monster looked particularly ugly. 1,000 times, 10,000 times uglier than her sister Medusa. In other words, not only did she not want to repent, she even went beyond the limits. After figuring out what happened on Mermaid Island, Yabai didn't need to stay any longer. I don't know what to say. I wish you a happy marriage and a long life together. After saying that, Yabai left some space for the sweet couple to continue living their own world. Keep walking forward and approach the undead monster's lair. Yabai stopped on the side of the road, and there was a new reminder in front of him. Someone once watched the record of the Eternal Tower here and left traces. Do you want to watch the record? Hiss. In the current state of Eye of Insight, it is definitely impossible to watch the video directly. Someone, don't think too much, must be Xiaoao. Juye once told Yabai that as the third most powerful person, Xiaoao's growth process was outrageous. Except for the novice copy, Xiaoao has never received an SSS rating in the Eternal Tower. To be exact, 99.99% pass every time. The difficulty of each test with 99 points is, in a sense, more difficult than the test with 100 points every time. However, Yabai didn't expect that Xiaoao could actually check the records of the Eternal Tower. This means that Xiaoao's authority in the Eternal Tower is very high from the beginning, rather than only after he reaches a higher level. Of course, this behavior of viewing records does not require too much strength, and it does not involve going back in time. It's just a monitoring function. Without Xiaoao's monitoring, Yabai would not be able to see the truth of history today. The cause of tomorrow is the effect of today. Check. In front of Yabai's eyes, a blurry holographic projection appeared. On the projection, an ordinary and unfamiliar figure handed a stone forward to a beautiful mermaid. This is the token your sister asked for. Please hand it over to me. Thank you. There is no need to guess the identity of this figure, Nightmare. Nightmare waved his hand towards the mermaid. Thank you for helping me. I will do more good deeds and less bad deeds in the future. Oh, by the way, have a sweet dream. After saying that, the nightmare figure disappeared from the place, and the projection ended. This is a precious video of the time when the most powerful nightmare set foot on the 15th floor for the first time. Yabai took a photo of it and left a thought for Master Ju. The video ended, but Yabai had more doubts in his heart. That's not right. Nightmare clearly saw that there was something wrong with the other party, but still didn't kill him. Instead, he gave the other party a chance to change his ways. The most powerful person in the human race, Nightmare, has the most legends and stories about him. True and false, false and true. But he is anything but a fool. It allows Lan Tiankai, Yingju, and many other strong humans to follow them, single-handedly resist the invasion of the 18 Abyss, end the 30-year bloody war between the two races, and sign a century-old agreement with the supreme demon god. You can never reach this point just by relying on SSS-level talent. Good talent can only determine the upper and lower limits of personal strength. Shadow 7 is a living example. She is definitely a top soldier who can tear through all defenses, but she can never grow into a reliable leader. Nightmares are not stupid. He sees through things but doesn't tell them about them. He encourages people to do good, so he naturally has his own ideas. On the 14th floor, Yabai once received a message from a nightmare. At that time, as the person who explored the Eternal Tower the furthest, Nightmare obviously noticed that there might be some problems with the Eternal Tower. In the process of breaking through the level, Nightmare is more willing to show kindness and try to make friends with others. Whether it is an NPC, a boss, or any other existence, Nightmare will not do anything if he can't do it during the initial contact. As for how this kindness will be treated in the end, that is not something that Nightmare can decide. Yabai put aside his questions and clicked on the second video. The holographic projection unfolded again. A man in white clothes passed by on the screen, accompanied by a cold snort. The most powerful nightmare spared your life, is this how you repay me? In the past 30 years, more than 200 passing ships have been destroyed, tens of thousands of people have been killed or injured, and countless people are missing. Mermaid Island is full of bones. On the screen, the monster was covered with bruises, kneeling on the ground, pleading and begging for life. Facing her second brother's sword, she had no power to fight back. After listening to the monster, the second brother said disdainfully, "You mean, if I kill you, the sea will lose control, flood the earth, and destroy all life?" Yabai raised his eyebrows. "Sister, I don't want to say this. If you dare to threaten the second brother, how many heads do you have that the second brother can chop off?" I saw the second brother in the projection flicking his right thumb and unsheathing his sword. Above the blue waves, sword energy spreads horizontally. With the sword in my hand, how difficult is it to fill the sea? Look at the sword. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 176. The sword energy moved vertically and horizontally, cutting the projection into countless pieces. The last scene Yabai saw was the sword energy splitting the sea in two, as silky as chi dove. It's still the second brother's punishment. Yabai couldn't help but sigh. Nightmare is kind-hearted and carefree. Only my second brother hates evil and does what he says. If you say the sword, use the sword. If you say fill the sea, then fill the sea. It's a pity that the video ends here, the sword energy is too strong. Yabai couldn't watch the rest of the content, so he could only speculate on his own. Second brother failed to kill this monster because he was concentrating on filling the sea. In other words, the second brother cut off the connection between this monster and the sea. Anyway, after the previous description of Mermaid Jane, as well as the video information of the two strongest seeds before and after, Yabai already knew the whole story. When dealing with immortal monsters, human players are extremely benevolent. Nightmare persuaded her to change her ways, Wuhan asked her to return to her rightful ways, and Xiaoao gave her a chance to start a new life. The three strongest seeds gave her 3 chances. But she didn't care. In the more than 30 years since Nightmare left, she has killed more than 10,000 people just to regain her strength, or even just for fun. Wilhelm cut off her connection with the sea, preventing her from going out to sea at will. The immortal monster still refused to give up and asked the mermaid to go out and hunt for her. Henry is one of the victims. After Xiaoao came, he left the words ugly. If the immortal monster had insisted on not eating people, its appearance would have returned to normal and it would have changed a new leaf. Ye Bai glanced at the other party through the clouds before. He was uglier than Medusa. He didn't know how many people he had killed and how much blood was stained on his hands. Unrepentant. Ye Bai smiled and shook his head. Then please go die. 50 meters ahead, the immortal monster is about to appear. When Ye Bai's figure appeared in front of the cave, a huge monster also rushed out. Her body was covered with tentacles and suckers, like countless sea monsters stitched together. The most eye-catching thing is her extremely ugly head, with her long hair flying and turning into countless venomous snakes, which is extremely ferocious. Fortunately, I had a midnight snack before coming here. Ye Bai sighed, I definitely won't be able to eat breakfast tomorrow. Flying girl Uriel has the ability to fly regardless of rules, a demonic body, and an immortal existence. Seeing the last note, Ye Bai snorted coldly. Immortal? I'll kill you if you don't die. There must be some way to kill her. Anyone else would have struggled to find the answer to this question. Ye Bai just needed to look at her one more time. 100 ways to kill Uriel. Ye Bai waved his hand, choose the one that relieves your anger the most. Let an NPC drink the fountain of youth and the tears of the mermaid at the same time to obtain the qualification to inherit the curse of immortality. Forcing Uriel into a near-death situation 9 times in a row. NPCs who were previously cursed will inherit Uriel's curse. Push Uriel to the brink of death again and you will be completely killed without any possibility of resurrection. According to the explanation of Eye of Insight, the reason why Uriel is immortal is not because of how strong she is, but because the curse of immortality and immortality is in effect. There are many ways to break the curse, some of which will leave a way for Uriel to survive and give her a chance to return to life. Since Ye Bai decided to kill her, he would kill her completely. Fountain of Youth, Mermaid's Tears. It's not difficult to collect these two things. Ye Bai glanced at the boss Uriel, and then struck with a thunderbolt. Boom! Red lightning shattered most of her body, and countless pieces of flesh flew across the sky, accompanied by miserable wails. The second time. After entering a near-death state, Uriel was briefly invincible. Ye Bai had to wait for her blood volume to recover to a certain level before he could continue to kill her. Just in time, take this opportunity to collect the Fountain of Youth and Mermaid Tears. The Fountain of Youth is easy to find, located in the mermaid's lair. Drinking the Fountain of Youth can ensure permanent appearance. Even though Henry is over 60 years old, he still looks like a 20-year-old boy. The Fountain of Youth is taking effect. Under the instruction of Eye of Insight, Ye Bai successfully found the Fountain of Youth. It's a pity that I can't take this thing out. The water from the Fountain of Youth can only be effective on NPCs. To players, it is just like ordinary spring water, even a little fishy. Who knows what those mermaids did inside? After collecting the water from the Fountain of Youth, Ye Bai also collected the mermaid's tears. In this gap, Ye Bai took a look at Uriel, and once again put the opponent who had just recovered into a near-death state. The third time. How come this boss is not difficult to fight at all? Can't you resist a little and give me a little challenge? If you still dare to resist, you will be turned upside down and beaten to death. Ye Bai's mental process of fighting the boss probably cycled between these 3 types. Henry, we meet again. Ye Bai filled the Fountain of Youth in a container, looked at Zhen, and said seriously. Can you give me some mermaid tears? It's okay, but Zhen hesitated to speak, and finally had no choice but to tell Ye Bai. Our tears have dried up over the past 30 years, and we cannot cry even if we want to. From the mermaid to this monster, they didn't know how many days and nights they cried in private. Is there something wrong? Resentful choking sounds often come from the mermaid's lair. Henry corrected, Jane promises me that she will never eat people again, and she can return to land with me. Ugly. The only chance of escape rests on this mysterious captain. Ye Bai quickly explained. Didn't you hear that Urana next door secretly ate a businessman and now she has turned into an octopus? At this moment, all the hidden mermaids could not control their emotions and burst into tears on the spot. Whoa, I really want to eat people today. Men, women, old people, wash them clean, brush them with oil, put them on the grill, sprinkle with cumin powder. Henry was a little worried and repeated. I know it well. Obviously, both men realized that it was impossible for them to escape from Uriel's control on their own. 3 seconds later, she started crying, tears streaming down her face. Obviously, after a period of psychological struggle. Ye Bai turned his head and looked at Henry, your lover. One word. Henry looked at Jane and asked her opinion with his eyes. Okay, your wife. Wife? I have decided to marry her. Another day when I want to eat people but I can't. As long as Jane regains her former appearance, he is still willing to accept this beauty again. Jane. Her cry was extremely penetrating, and it carried a certain message that spread throughout the Mermaid Island. Ye Bai pointed at Zhen and asked, do you mind if I make your wife cry? Why don't I sympathize with you at all? Stop talking, I'm hungry. Henry still felt that beautiful skin was better than anything else. Listening to Zhen's description, Ye Bai couldn't help but roll his eyes. Henry? I can't hold back my tears. I just need to say a word to her. Ye Bai waved his hand, looked at Zhen, and said slowly. Don't get me wrong, I didn't mean to hurt her or do anything else. On this day, the mermaids recalled the fear of being dominated by Xiaoyao. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 177. Now that we have the Fountain of Youth and the Mermaid's Tears, we just need an NPC to be the experimental subject. Not Henry. He drank from the Fountain of Youth once and could not drink it a second time. To inherit the curse of immortality, you must drink both Mermaid Tears and Fountain of Youth at the same time. Need to change to an NPC. On Mermaid Island, besides Henry the bartender, there are Pirate Robert and Bounty Hunter Randy. In other words, Ye Bai had no choice in the first place. Give Robert the curse of immortality and let them become new monsters and new scourges. Ye Bai obviously wouldn't do this. Brush. A gust of breeze blew by, and Randy felt that the things in front of him were shaking slightly, and Ye Bai's figure appeared again. Captain. Randy, it seems I haven't introduced myself yet. Ye Bai smiled and said. Let's get to know each other again, my name is Shura. He reached out his hand and shook Randy's. Wes Randy, the bounty hunter. Randy's eyes changed slightly when he looked at Ye Bai, and he spoke with a slight surprise. I've heard your name, Captain Shura, many times these days. Your name is being discussed in taverns, on boats, in the port of Saint Marie, no, in any port. Randy wasn't exaggerating. The 15th floor itself is a floor with many human players. Everyone got together and went fishing in the sea, which was very pleasant. The more people there are, the more topics we can talk about. These days, the birth of Shura is definitely the hottest topic among human players. Ye Bai spoke again. Then you should also know that I, or we, are actually not the same as you. Randy nodded. Yes, Someone discovered it 100 years ago. You appear for up to 6 hours a day and come from a place called Blue Star. Oh, yes, you are unkillable. Randy casually mentioned some characteristics of players. After saying that, he shook his head and laughed self-deprecatingly. You seem to call this place, the 15th floor. Right. Yep, I had nothing to hide, so he nodded and admitted. What is the difference between the so-called NPCs and real people in the Eternal Tower? In Yebai's view, there is no difference. They are not data, they are not virtual, they can be grasped. Only by wandering around the Eternal Tower with this perspective can we truly understand everything that our predecessors have done. Nightmare thinks the Tower of Eternity is real. Maybe even one layer and one world. It is precisely because of this that Nightmare is kind to others and will never kill anyone unless absolutely necessary. To a certain extent, it is the same reason why the second brother hates evil so much and draws his sword whenever he disagrees. If the Eternal Tower is truly regarded as an online game, we will not care about good or evil, right or wrong, and only care about maximizing our own interests. As you become stronger, you will also lose something. Take the 15th floor as an example. Yabai only needs to take the mermaid's treasure to gain 30% exploration. He doesn't need to kill the immortal monster at all, he can still pass the level 4's level. Only. Just like what Yabai said. You're here, why don't you celebrate by killing a boss? Is that appropriate? Randy, you now have a choice before you. Yabai took out Mermaid's Tears and Fountain of Youth and explained clearly the cause and effect. Randy was a little unbelievable. So, you are going to give this blessing to me? This is not a blessing, this is a curse. Yabai emphasized that immortality is not as wonderful as it sounds. Besides, even if you accept this, I have conditions. You say. Yabai and Randy made a 3-chapter agreement. When Randy obtains the curse of immortality, he will return to St. Mary's Port and return to society. Yabai doesn't care how Randy uses this power. But Randy must promise one thing, he won't use this power to do evil. This power, this curse, makes it easy for people to get lost and eventually fall into the abyss. Randy didn't think for too long and nodded in agreement with Yabai's conditions. Do you need me to swear an oath or sign any contract? Randy knew that verbal agreements could only go so far. If Shura wants to restrain him, he can use something more powerful. No need for anything. Yabai handed the 2 things to Randy and showed a warm smile. You just need to remember that Shura is watching everything silently. Nothing you do can escape Shura's eyes. When you break your promise, Shura will come to you and take away everything given to you. It is the hot summer season on the island and the heat is unbearable. But Randy felt a chill coming from the soles of his feet and spreading throughout his body. The half-masked Shura captain in front of him was clearly using the calmest tone and the harshest words. As you wish, my captain. Randy took a half-step back, took off his hat, and held it against his chest. After doing all this, he picked up 2 wine glasses, drank them all in one go, then bent over and started to retching. Vomit. These 2 things were worse than horse urine, but they made him sick. Rinse your mouth and let's go. Yabai threw a bottle of mouthwash to Randy. Soon, 2 people rose into the air. Flights are allowed on Mermaid Island. However, Yabai chose a more labor-saving method. The hellhound's limbs turned into safety belts, tying Randy up. Then, the center head of the Cerberus stretches its ears, and the entire head turns into the shape of a helicopter propeller and begins to rotate. There is no big problem with flying this way, but it is a waste of head. If there are too few heads, it is generally not recommended to try it. Captain Shura's voice came from beside him, do it quickly. Who am I, where am I, what do I do? Dangerous actions, please do not imitate. Randy? 2 people just want to deal with such a monster? Yabai rolled his eyes. He didn't even lose any blood. Why did he need treatment? Randy was left to watch stunned. His weak heart was greatly traumatized. I have to say, this is a bit exaggerated. Shura even thought her recovery speed was too slow and took the initiative to help her with treatment. After being cured, Uriel, who was out of the near-death state, faced a new thunderstorm. Spiraling to heaven. The cycle goes back and forth, over and over again. Randy tore open a healing scroll, and cyan light enveloped him and Shura, providing healing and shielding for both of them. In his career as a bounty hunter in the past few decades, Randy has never seen such a powerful monster. Even a tentacle is more terrifying than the most powerful sea monster under the sea. The other heads on both sides were not idle either, flattening their heads and waving them like wings. Is there something wrong somewhere, or am I dazzled? He could feel that the monster Uriel in front of him was very strong and terrifying. Randy, is this really something a human can do? Yabai had no choice but to give a demonstration first, tearing open the healing scroll to help Uriel regain his life and get rid of the dying state as soon as possible. Yabai threw a few healing scrolls and ordered, use them when you see the opportunity. Hell dog, boss, you know that cat can fly, right? In front of Shura, Uriel had no ability to resist. How come you have no sympathy at all? Use the healing scroll quickly. I asked you to treat Uriel. Didn't you see that she was struck by lightning and was about to die? Randy was completely confused. Treatment, struck by lightning, near death, treatment. Yabai continued to remind. Randy nodded with a serious expression, not daring to be careless at all. Before Randy could take action, a thunderbolt fell from the sky, sending the newly recovered boss Uriel into a near-death state again. The flight effect is very good, the pilot's mood is stable, the current condition is good, and the battery life is full. In short, the two returned to the cave and stood beside Uriel. What are you doing standing still? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 178. Boom. Thunders fell from the sky, killing Uriel again and again. Randy is numb. Every time he was killed, Uriel took longer to recover, even with Yabai helping with treatment. It was such a good healing scroll that Yabai couldn't bear to part with it, so he could only pick some defective ones for her to use. The situation fell into a stalemate for a while. Uriel came to life, writhing on the ground in pain. But what does this have to do with Yabai? He even had the time to play a game of backgammon with Randy. Looking at the anxious situation, Yabai used a magical trick. 3 white stones fall one after another, forming 5 stones in an instant. Yabai spoke calmly. I won. Randy looked at the chessboard, lost in thought. Is there something wrong? Is this really how this chess was played? Only. There were so many things that shocked Randy during this time. The curse of immortality, Uriel, Shura's promise. It all seemed so unreal. The backgammon thing seemed ordinary. Randy is not stupid, he is even smart. In this business of bounty hunting, an idiot will never survive long. Shura would not bring him to fight the boss for no reason. Uriel was vulnerable to Shura and did not need anyone's help at all. Randy's appearance here was a warning or demonstration to him. The previous immortal monster would die at the hands of Shura. If Randy uses this power to do evil, his fate will definitely not be better than that of Uriel. Even more miserable. Just look at that dog and you will know how terrifying Shura is. Randy couldn't imagine what kind of torture he would experience once he broke his promise and ended up in Shura's hands. These thunders will always be engraved in his mind and will be unforgettable for the rest of his life. Yabai looked at Uriel, raised his hand and another thunderbolt fell. It's the 9th time. Boom. This time, unlike the previous near-death state, Uriel's body began to shrink crazily and no longer looked like a sea monster. Judging from the body shape, it has restored the posture of a girl. Not only that, a layer of petrification appeared on the surface of her body, quickly covering her whole body. Finally, a standing beauty sculpture appeared in front of Yebai. Her hair was flying and fixed in the air. It looked a bit scary. As long as you kill her once, the curse of immortality will be transferred to you. With that said, Yebai walked forward and stood next to the sculpture. Uriel, let's say something heartfelt. While Yebai was speaking, a prompt popped up in front of his eyes. She could once kill human players. Real kill. Hiss. Even Yebai couldn't help but take a breath when he saw these words. Real kill. There are indeed some levels and monsters in the Eternal Tower that can cause real damage to players or even kill them. But, according to the information Yebai knows, this situation usually occurs above the 50th floor, or even higher. What Yebai never expected was that the boss on the 15th floor also had such an ability. Unheard of. Once. Yebai captured these two words keenly. In other words, after the nightmare left, it also took away some things from Uriel, such as real kills. Yebai lowered his head and noticed a new detail. Uriel, who looked like a sea monster before, had a shadow. When she returned to her human form and turned into a sculpture, there was no shadow under her feet. Who took her shadow away? Nightmare, or Master Ju? There were only these two people on Yebai's suspicion list. The shadow disappeared. This was the first time Yebai noticed it. It was probably Master Ju who did it. From the first floor to the 15th floor, Yebai could find that the strong human race who had passed through the level in the past would leave various traces. Leaving aside the three most powerful seeds, even Xuemeng would leave various messages. There was no trace of the person in the shadow. Master Ju, Shadow 7 Zhaozian, a shadow-level powerhouse. It was as if they had never been to the Eternal Tower. Most likely Xiaoao helped them cover up their traces. In any case, Uriel's inability to cause real kills to players must be related to the disappearance of the shadow. Yebai sighed. You had 3 chances to survive, but you didn't cherish them each time. Looking at Uriel, Yebai shook his head and said sincerely. Seriously, you are the first to survive under the hands of 3 powerful men. Live a wonderful life in this life, but don't live such a wonderful life in the next life. Saying that, Yebai drew out the Heavenly King's sword and slashed at Uriel. I promised others that I would come and chop you down. If you dig deep into your heart, that's the end of it. The Heavenly King's sword slashed out, and the petrification on Uriel's body was instantly shattered. The next second, the 3-headed hell dog struck out with all its head, lunged forward, and ripped out Uriel's heart. This time it's really heartbreaking. The beating heart was thrown at Randy's feet, and Yebai said, "Kill this heart and you will inherit the curse." Without any hesitation, Randy stepped down hard, and his whole heart exploded like a crushed tomato. Uriel, die. The moment he killed the boss, Yebai received several Eternal Tower prompts. The Taoist Gujing Wuobo's voice came from the conch. Captain, was it you who killed that immortal monster? Let's pretend that Yebai is sleeping in class and having sweet dreams. Since Uriel itself is not within the exploration range, Yebai did not gain any exploration points by killing her. Yebai was very satisfied. The magical conch ringed in my ears. This is the treasure of the mermaid clan. You will gain the friendship of the mermaid clan until the sea and the earth are shattered. When Yebai took Randy to find Jane, she was gathering with a group of mermaids. As the representative of the mermaid tribe, she held up a pair of conchs in both hands and brought them to Yebai. Kill Uriel and gain the friendship of the mermaids. This thing is good. However, Mermaid Island has also undergone drastic changes. From then on, there was one less person and one more dog in the classroom. Yabai put away the magical conch and made up his mind. Kill Uriel, gain 50 million experience points, leave 108 rightward arrow, leave 124. The magical conch is perfect for saving lives. But isn't the conversation function a bit redundant? Magical conch. This thing must not be given to Master Ju. Yabai felt completely safe. Not only was Uriel cruel to humans, he was no better to mermaids. Dispel the curse of the sea and obtain the blessing flying in the four seas. When flying on the sea, the movement speed is at 100%. Is there a possibility? He gave the magic conch to Master Ju, and Master Ju casually gave it to one of his apprentices to have some fun when he was bored. When you encounter enemies that Yabai can't deal with, why not try blowing the magical conch? You can talk through conch shells, blow any conch shell, and open a portal to travel back and forth, even across the abyss plane. SS level props. After receiving a positive reply, another burst of cheers broke out among the mermaids. Keep one with you, and one with Master Ju. To celebrate the death of Uriel. Beautiful singing sounded on the island. The singing was melodious, and moving, accompanied by tears of joy. Yabai looked at the introduction of magical conch and fell into deep thought. Hiss. Maybe, you're a dog. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 179. Kill the boss, get the mermaid's treasure, and put away the magic conch. There is no need for Yabai to stay on Mermaid Island and prepare to set sail again. After taking Randy and Henry back to the Blade, the sailors on the ship looked anxious and hurriedly reported. Captain, just now Robert and his gang tried to seize the ship and were eaten by monsters on the bottom of the sea. A black shadow emerged from the water. Hiccup. Black Tiger burped and looked at the three-headed hell dog strangely, not understanding what was going on with the other person's head. Brother, why did you change your skin again? You are always so good, I am under a lot of pressure, brother. Everyone is a shadow, there is no need to be so curled up. Return. Back on the Blade, Yabai stood at the bow and stretched. Fighting the storm gained 25% exploration, and the mermaid's treasure gained 30% exploration. Including the sea monsters, pirates, etc. that Yabai killed along the way, the exploration rate reached 70%. The remaining exploration points have to be collected slowly, and they cannot be delivered to your door yourself. Fortunately, Yabai had told Black Tiger before that other pirates could eat it to keep Robert alive. Yabai was still counting on him to increase his exploration speed. Not far from Mermaid Island, a pirate ship hangs the one-eyed symbol. This is the main ship of the one-eyed pirate group, the Dark Chocolate, which Robert got from a down-and-out earl. The figure covered with water plants was hung up hastily by the rope. The famous pirate Captain Robert had only one breath left, his face turned pale, and his lips were like whitened mushrooms. Call. Under the treatment of the ship's doctor, he managed to gain some color and regain his consciousness. Mermaid, this is Mermaid Island. Robert struggled to stand up and stumbled against the bow of the boat, his eyes full of greed. The Mermaid Island has disappeared for hundreds of years and only exists in the legendary Mermaid Island. We are going to make a fortune. A mermaid sold to those gentlemen is worth at least 1,000 gold coins. Apparently, Robert didn't know the latest status of the mermaid. He seemed to have been injected with new magic power, and his whole person was extremely excited. How many people are coming this time? Robert turned around and asked fiercely, his only remaining eye glowing red and looking fierce. Boss, everyone is here. A yellow-haired pirate grinned and said, our 6 ships and the pirates near St. Mary's Port have all received the news. At this moment, there may be hundreds of pirate ships in this sea. Marvelous. Robert took a deep breath and looked forward. You only have a sharp blade, so what can you do to fight me? Surround the mermaid island. If anyone finds any trace of the blade, they will chase after it. I will destroy their ship and kill everyone. Robert has realized that the captain on the blade is definitely not a kind person. If on land, Robert would never provoke the other party. However, the rules of the sea are very special. Once it falls into the sea, without a boat to support it, it will soon die. This is also the confidence that Robert dares to take action. He knew very well that once the other party returned to St. Mary's port, he would never get any good results. This is his last chance. Standing on the bow of the ship, with the pirate flag flying in the wind above his head, Robert talked to himself and encouraged himself. Don't be afraid, we have more ships. Captain, they have too many ships. On the blade, Henry looked around and found traces of many pirate ships. There are more pirate ships on their way. Surrounded by pirate ships and defenseless, the blade is simply a sheep in a tiger's mouth. Just a couple of cannonballs would result in the ship being destroyed and everyone dead. Compared with Henry's worries, Randy seemed much calmer. Many ships? What's the use? Deliver food to Shura? Randy doubted that even 100 Uriel were no match for Shura. Randy, who had seen Shura defeat the boss alone, was now cursed with immortality and was not afraid of death at all. Many ships? Yabai chuckled, there are only a few ships. Before the war begins, raise the flag. When a battle starts at sea, the flag is shown first, just like the sign is shown first in a Kenyan duel. I can die in the lane, I can lose in team battles, but no one can stop me from showing my dog tag on 0/21. I've revealed this brand today. After hearing the captain's order, everyone subconsciously wanted to raise the flag, but soon realized another thing. Captain, we have no flag. No flag. Draw one on the spot, wait a moment. Yabai summoned a piece of black cloth and wanted to draw something on it, something that could represent himself. I don't know why, but my eyes always fall on the three-headed hell dog. It's inappropriate to draw a dog's head. It's too late. The war is about to begin, and the flag will be used soon, so do it as easily as possible. Is there any white paint? Have. Yabai took the paint bucket, looked at the shadow of the three-headed dog from hell, and was about to speak. I'm sorry, I'll add. To dinner. Before Yabai finished speaking, the three-headed hell dog raised a paw and interrupted him. Stop talking, dogs understand. I don't understand even if I say it. Under the watchful eyes of Black Tiger and a group of crew members, the three-headed hellhound jumped directly into the paint bucket and dyed himself white. The paint was then allowed to dry on its own, and the shadow of the three-headed dog was dyed into a white dog. The white dog took the initiative to stick to the black cloth and turned into a brand new flag, the dog-headed pirate flag. Everyone. They couldn't understand it, but they were shocked. Why do this person and a dog, across races, cooperate so well and seamlessly? Yabai is still adjusting the posture of the white dog to make the Jolly Roger look more handsome. Leave your head a little further to the left, and open your eyes on the right side. Are you spineless? Your eyes are so small. The dog head in the middle must have murderous intent. After adjusting for a long time, Yabai said seriously. The first version still looks good, let's restore it to its original state. The three-headed dog of hell seems to have been prepared and can be restored with one click. Dogs know how to keep their eyes wide open, but some people don't. Very well, raise the flag. The dog-headed pirate flag slowly rose. Under the blue sea and blue sky, the blade was riding the wind and waves, surrounded by 10 pirate ships approaching like jackals, ready to bite off a piece of fat from the blade at any time. When the dog-head pirate flag was raised, the pirate ship was filled with laughter and laughter. How could someone use a dog as a pirate flag? What's wrong with the three-headed dog? What an amazing head. Am I dazzled? I feel like this pirate flag is alive and it's smiling at me. Soon, these pirates plundering the sea could no longer laugh. The sky darkened for no reason, and the red-purple thunder struck down like a divine punishment, destroying these 100-meter-long ships at will, and grinding everything into dust. Above the blue waves, only the dog-headed flag is flying. 10 minutes later, the entire sea was dyed light red, and the pirates were wiped out. Those famous and feared pirates were so dead that not even the dregs were left. Yabi's exploration level also increased to 100%, and it was time to leave. After bidding farewell to Henry and Randy, Yabi summoned the Eternal Core Crystal and placed his palm on it, setting up customs clearance scores. After a few seconds, all races in the Eternal Tower received the same notice. Congratulations to player Shura SSSS for clearing the 15th floor. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 180. Congratulations to player Shura SSSS for clearing the 15th floor. The announcements are not over yet. Congratulations to player Shura SSSS for clearing the 16th floor. 17th floor. SSSS level rating, 3. Although compared with the 5's rating and 4's ratings in a single day, 3's ratings seem a bit unremarkable. But the 4's rating is not a shoehorn on the roadside, just brush it as you say. After the 4's rating announcement, rewards will follow. The player clears the 15th, 6th, and 7th floors of Shura SSSS level, and will be rewarded with the human race buff Immortality in the Eternal Tower. Limited time buff Shui Miao. When the Eternal Tower human race uses a skill, the effect will be add 10% for each additional word in the skill name, limited to 18 hours. Limited time buff Blue Sea and Blue Sky. Eternal Tower human water magic effect add 20%, limited time 18 hours. Limited time buff experience improvement. The Eternal Tower human race gains add 20% experience, limited time is 8 hours. Immortality, after receiving fatal damage, 20% of blood volume will be restored immediately. If the source of damage is killed within 10 seconds, the immortal buff will continue to be retained. If it fails, you will lose the immortality buff. Note, only effective in the Eternal Tower. Hiss. When the immortality effect was announced, everyone was shocked. They thought the reward would be strong, but they didn't expect it to be so strong. This is too. It's too outrageous. If you can always hold immortality, you will always have a second life. The effect is different from that of Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel is like a disposable umbrella, throw it away after use and cannot be recycled. Immortal it is like a recyclable and environmentally friendly energy-saving umbrella. Be frugal, wash it, and it can still be used. The former's single-shot effect is more powerful. Once the latter is used a few times, the price-performance ratio will immediately soar. I'm invincible. Ha ha ha. I'm invincible. A man was running around the trading area, ecstatic, shouting nonsense like invincible. Everyone thought he was crazy and wanted to join forces to send this guy to a mental hospital. As a result, this man showed his talent. Wang Pang Pang, Second Awakening, S-level talent killer will die. Whoever kills dies, after receiving fatal damage, 100% of the opponent's health will be dealt true damage to the source of the damage. This is the ultimate one-for-one talent that self-destructs and takes away the enemy. It works wonders in team copies, but in individual copies the effect is average. Originally, this Second Awakening talent was useless in actual combat. It's like letting a talent go out before the game starts. You can't rush up and exchange money with the enemy, right? Now, with Wang Pang Pang paired with immortality, he can form a disguised perpetual motion machine in the Eternal Tower. You can fix a bug and renew your cup permanently immortality. So irritating. In anger, everyone beat up Wang Pang Pang before letting him go. Eternal Core City. Ye Bai just appeared wearing a mask, and he just breathed a sigh of relief. A Taoist priest appeared next to him. The most powerful person is free and easy. He was so angry that he was relieved. Meet again. Ye Bai hid the conch in his hand, showed a stiff smile, and greeted the other party. Hello. Hello, I'm not good. No, it should be hello and me. Xiaoao nodded, yeah. Ye Bai continued to ask, are you planning to follow me all the time? Right. It should be safe here, after all. Ye Bai originally planned to say, after all, this place is almost becoming your home. I thought it was weird to say this, so I changed my words. After all, it looks very safe here. I said something nonsense inadvertently, please pay attention next time. Xiaoao shook his head, I didn't say I wanted to protect you. Yeah, bye. I'm so worried, old man, at least you can pretend. To be precise, you are the most dangerous when you are around me. Xiaoao saw Ye Bai's doubts and explained responsibly. When you first awaken, if I appear next to you, the supreme demon god will directly kill you. Even if you have some ability to protect yourself, he has been hesitating whether to pay the price and take action directly. When Ye Bai learned the truth about the world, he realized that the only person who could threaten him was the most powerful demon. As for the other demon gods, it would be good if the human race did not threaten them. Ye Bai silently took 2 steps back, feeling that there was no point in doing so. Ye Bai sighed, walked back, and said as if he was resigned to his fate. If there's anything else I need to know, let's finish it all at once and let me give up. Xiaoao thought for a while and added, in the past minute, he considered whether to kill you directly 76 million times, and got a negative answer 76 million times. Ye Bai asked curiously, why? Curiosity killed the cat, but he is protected by Xiaoao. Xiaoao, because you're afraid of me. Ye Bai. Ye Bai discovered that there are skills to communicating with Xiaoao. The trick is, if you have any questions in your heart, just ask them. Don't beat around the bush, be secretive, or be sympathetic, none of it. Xiaoao can't understand. Don't accept this at all. Ding is ding, Mao is Mao. Only by asking Xiaoao directly can you get the answer. The more precise the questions, the more effective the answers you get. There is another premise here, Xiaoao always answers all questions. Ye Bai decided to be brave again. You know the most powerful demon so well. What is your relationship with him? Xiaoao was also stunned when he heard this question. Ye Bai asked. In other words, Xiaoao said seriously, I will tell you when I think of the answer. Not without. In less than a day, I got a question that couldn't be answered immediately. Moreover, every time Ye Bai saw Xiaoao, he had to face an almost suffocating sense of oppression. Ye Bai spoke cautiously. When you don't know the answer, use the process of elimination first. So, for a moment, he couldn't give Ye Bai an answer. These 2 questions are difficult to think about, and Xiaoao can't figure it out. After answering Ye Bai's 2 questions neatly, Xiaoao asked. There has always been a question that has troubled Xiaoao, is it Xiaoao Mendi or Diamond Xiaoao? I should go out for a walk more often. Who said the world is the most boring? Very profitable. This may be a little offensive to ask. Xuemeng also said that there is inheritance among the strongest, and it is necessary for Ye Bai to know more about Xiaoao. Is he worthy? Since Xiaoao didn't expect the answer, he relied on Ye Bai's student master's many years of experience in multiple choice questions to make a judgment. Zhu said that he should avoid being alone with Xiaoao and not take Xiaoao's trophies. Ye Bai didn't expect that Xiaoao would react like this. Xiaoao is the only powerful person he has been able to come into contact with so far. Are you and the most powerful demon god one and the same, or is there any origin connection between the two of you? On the contrary, the question Ye Bai gave could be used to kill time without upsetting Xiaoyao. The next question is very important to Ye Bai. Recently, there is another question. In order to gain the most powerful man's will, Ye Bai would rather risk turning into a dog. He suddenly felt that Mr. Lan might be right. It would be a shame not to use the sense of oppression in exchange for some information. Very profitable. He never thought about it. He is also the most mysterious and special powerhouse. While talking, Xiaoyao took a serious look at Ye Bai for the first time, and took a serious look at Shura, the fourth most powerful seed in the human race. Only then came the shocking question that followed.